Hello, everyone, and welcome back. I'm your host, Veteran Mountain Man, and today we're going to talk about a set of laws in Oregon that are effectively don't sound bad on the surface until you start looking at what has been done to them over the past 40 years or so. And what I'm talking about is the mandatory reporter statute. Now, I've got a link down below to an Oregon Live article which kind of gives a synopsis of it. And I know some of my Oregonian listeners are going to be like, well, the Oregon Live is just a horrible leftist rag. Why are you using their sources? Because they actually give a pretty good synopsis. So the mandatory reporter statute actually went into effect way back in the 1960s. And it realistically was designed so that police officers and healthcare professionals reported child abuse of any child 12 years of age or younger. And if they failed to report it, they would receive a fine. In the 1970s, the law was changed to the age of 15, and then it was pushed to anyone under the age of 18, and also modified so that psychologists, clergy, child care providers, and attorneys were added. They then decriminalized the Oregon's mandatory reporting law in the 1980s, after in the 1970s it had been pushed to a misdemeanor for failure to report. And Oregon's mandatory reporter law in 2012 grew to include coaches, youth activity providers, and other such things, as known as the Penn State Law, or the Penn State Amendment to the law. Now, realistically at this point, almost anyone except a parent is considered a mandatory reporter. Because all educational specialists, all emergency services specialists, healthcare providers, psychologists, counselors, daycare workers, child care administration, babysitters, and everybody else in the state, basically, except for the kids' parents, are mandatory reporters. And if you miss a sign of abuse, you can be fined. You can be penalized. Now, why are we doing this? I mean, I can understand to a limited extent creating a law to shield police officers or medical care workers that report abuse from reprisals from the family against who they reported the abuse. But this whole concept of making it mandatory that we have to report on our fellow citizens as to what's going on with their children, this seems a little overly Orwellian. And other individuals from other states, including the great Alicia Clegg, has noticed it as well, that it's downright insane. I mean, it's basically forcing us to spy on our neighbors' children. It's forcing us to spy on all children. And if we think there's a possibility of any abuse, we have to report it, or we will be in trouble with the law, and the law will come down on us. So perhaps we need to look at laws like this and take them back to the intent that they were designed, instead of taking away people's freedom, to instead protect those who do report incidents like this and shield them from reprisals or exposure to those that they've accused under certain circumstances, so that things don't have to get crazy. Because the big reason for making these laws originally were to shield police officers and medical care providers. And it seems that Oregon got it wrong right off the bat. Well, I want to thank you all again for joining me on this Regulatory Tuesday. Please don't forget to upvote and follow me on VidMe or thumbs up and subscribe on BitChute. You can also like and subscribe on YouTube. Don't forget, I do answer comments, so please leave your comments below if you want to start a conversation. Also, don't forget you can catch me on the social medias listed below, and there is the link in the description to that Oregon live report. It is from 2012. We haven't had any updates to the mandatory reporter law since then, so you're going to have to work basically from there. If I get a chance, I might also include one from the Oregon Legislative Association to give you the actual detailed description of the law, but it's kind of convoluted to read, so I might not include that. Thank you all, and have yourselves a great Tuesday.